A total of 3 cars were pulled out of the Sacramento River today, but there are actually 12 within this 100-yard stretch of the river along River Road here. Another incident unfolding here in Doco. Take a look. You're looking at an investigation into a robbery in broad daylight by 4 teenagers.
Very scary and sad situation here as the Placer County Sheriff's Office confirmed one person was found dead, another injured after an avalanche.
Tis a busy travel holiday season, but all these passengers have a really good reason.
Hansen says if you're going to be rafting, it is important you have the right equipment made for the American River. That includes wearing a life jacket. No matter how great of a swimmer you think you might be.
It's time to tighten those laces because we're walking through the aisles of a sneakerhead's dream. Meet the local whose business selling hot kicks is booming.
In July, we brought you stories of an underwater junkyard, cars dumped across the Delta, and what the San Joaquin County Sheriff was doing to pull those cars out, solve the crimes, and if necessary, bring closure to the families of missing persons. Twin Cities and River Roads teeming with law enforcement. The operation and technology from Sacramento Sheriff's Office. The San Joaquin Sheriff's Office Boat Patrol Unit assisting with water safety. Divers from the Sacramento Sheriff's Office at the ready, searching at the bottom of the river. The red floaters marking not 1 or 2, but up to 12 cars in this underwater junkyard. The first car they pulled up, a white SUV that crashed into the river on July 13th at 5 a.m.
A gentleman had called 911 and he had stated that he had driven off the roadway and went into the Sacramento River and swam out.
A common issue, according to neighbors. There are no lights, just a small guardrail, and people take the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit as a starting point.
He had just driven off. He was not intoxicated or under the impairment of drugs or alcohol. That was the first vehicle that the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department did locate and we pulled out.
Vehicle number 2 was not so easy. Law enforcement says the longer the car sits in the water, the heavier it can get. The other issue, the longer it sits, the more damage the water does to the vehicle. Gas tanks crack or rupture under the pressure, leaking toxic chemicals into the river. It's concerning for a UC Davis toxicologist.
They can cause serious consequences for fish and other critters. If the concentrations are high enough, they can actually then kill them as well.
Making the argument it's best to pull the cars out sooner rather than later. And this is a very dangerous stretch of road. There are many memorials along the side of the highway of River Road, and Sacramento County Sheriff confirms that all 3 cars that were pulled out of the water today were from car accidents, and they're running their license plates right now to figure out who they belong to. Chris, Laura.
And as you mentioned, a reminder, the speed limit is 55 miles per hour in that area. Please heed it because it can make a real difference.
It's the North Highlands Institution, known as much for its throwback look as for its prices.
Our first time driving was to Lou's Burger.
It was the original burger stand. There was no other one here.
Burgers and homemade shakes have been sold at Lou's Burgers since the 1950s.
Let's do it.
I've been coming here since 1986 with my dad. You know what I'm saying? I love this spot.
And still doing the same thing, so it's everything to us.
Owners Robert.
Absolutely everything to us.
And Leland Kitchens.
I cannot believe the line is all the way out to Watt Avenue.
Serving a huge lunch crowd that could be their last. The Kitchens say they haven't been able to reach a deal with the landlord who wants to raise the rent.
Try not to think too much about it because I'll just sit here and cry like a puddle on the floor.
So they're closing up shop after today.
It's sad because, you know, it was a great meeting place.
It's a great place to reconnect and connect.
Are you okay outside today?
But business has been good this week.
We have been slammed for the last 8 days. We never thought we could even get that much meat out the window.
Yesterday, someone flew from Utah just to come here last night.
The news brought back old customers and employees.
And I have have so many precious memories of working here.
Lisa Rapiche brought the owners her old
It
apron.
was nostalgic back in the 70s because it was a 50s restaurant.
Now there's still some hope that the kitchens will reach a deal with the landlord to keep this place open.
Hopefully, with a lot of prayers and a lot of people coming, it'll turn out good.
You can't get a better burger than Lou's Burger, you know what I mean? It's the bomb.
But if this really is the end of Lou's Burgers,
Hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for your support.
the customers aren't letting it go without a goodbye.
The San Joaquin River is one of the hardest working rivers in California. A 330-mile highway for endangered fish like trout and salmon that starts in the Sierra and ends in the San Francisco Bay. But in the middle of all its beauty, the river takes an unfortunate turn.
We get probably like 3 to 4 cars in the water every month, but this year it's been significantly more. I would probably say about double.
Just below the surface is an underwater junkyard. In Stockton, along 8 Mile Road, sits dozens of abandoned cars cluttering the bottom of the San Joaquin River. Deputy John Canapo at the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office boating unit recently took us out on the river. He's been patrolling the river for 4 years and showed us where they find the most cars. He says the cars that lay along the riverbed are likely stolen and dumped, or someone missed a turn and accidentally hit the water.
There's no obstacles to have the cars come out, and it's also very dark out here at night. There's not much ambient light. We've had cars right here, but we've also had cars all along the rocks. They're just able to go off the levee.
And he says some of the cars could even belong to missing persons. People like Jacob Van Zandt, who disappeared in February.
It's the first thing you think about when you wake up. It's the last thing you think about before going to bed. When you're eating, you're doing anything, you're wondering.
The 24-year-old was last seen at a Lodi restaurant getting takeout. A ping from his phone led the family to believe he was somewhere near the river along 8 Mile Road. And after 2 months of searching, a volunteer dive team with Adventures with Purpose came in and found his remains in the river, inside his car, 15 feet below the surface.
When the divers came in, and we were shocked to find out that there were 27 other vehicles down there.
27 cars just in that one section of the massive river.
We've been lucky to get our answers because there's people out there who have no idea what happened to their loved ones, and I can't imagine having to live with that every day.
Taking cars out is important for us here at the Sheriff's Office because it could be related to something important like a stolen vehicle or a missing person, and it'd be awesome to be able to bring closure to those families.
But unfortunately, it is not that simple. They rely on Stanislaus County for the dive team and Sacramento County for their underwater camera you see here to check for remains.
Yeah, that's been there a minute.
There's also environmental concerns that car fluids are leaking into the river.
Vehicles go off the Delta levees and side roads probably pretty regularly, and they need to be responded to.
Allen says it can destroy habitats and be a danger to people using the water for recreation. A UC Davis environmental toxologist agrees.
They can cause serious consequences for fish and other critters. If the concentrations are high enough, they can actually then kill them as well. I would say the short-term effects are probably more of an issue than the long-term effects as they move downstream and away and dilute.
Now it's about waiting for the family of Jacob Van Zandt, waiting for more answers.
Waiting, trying to figure out, it's pretty horrible. I don't wish it on anybody.
The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office waits on other agencies and funding to tackle this giant issue. They'll continue to patrol the San Joaquin River, where the hard work is just beginning.
think a lot of people are surprised that we have a chorus of this size in Sacramento, sending the message that we do, and as talented as we are.
But any person that I have said that I'm a member of it, and when I post on Facebook, I've had some interesting, because it's Sacramento Gay Men's Chorus.
You know, we're inclusive. People always say, but you say it's the Gay Men's Chorus, and yet you have women. That's true. We were founded as the men's chorus. We grew into the Sacramento Gay Men's Chorus. We keep that as a legacy to honor those that came before us.
I started in the founding year of the Sacramento Men's Chorus. At the time, it was named Sacramento Men's Chorus because we were afraid of calling it gay. In the early 80s, people were not out. It was, I'm a teacher, and so you could be fired. As you know, in the 80s, the AIDS crisis, we sang at probably more vigils and funerals than I would ever care to tell you. We lost many people across the chorus during that era from mid-80s to mid-90s.
It truly is family. We've helped people out when they've been in dire straits. If people have been unemployed or needed help with food or logistics or anything like that, this chorus rallies around them.
When I joined in 1984, it was about finding my gay family, because as many who were ostracized by their family for being gay or lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, queer, you had chosen family. And I think that many people today join it and see it as an inclusive organization from the standpoint that it becomes chosen family. And we need that in our community.
I had come out late in my life, and I had been recently married, and my family had decided to end our relationship. My wife and I saw the holiday performance, the last one, and it was so phenomenal, and the talent was just incredible. I happened to get a text at that moment of the last family member, and the choir sang "You Belong Here," and it was a moment where I was like, I'm gonna get emotional, but it was a moment where I was like, great, now what? And then they sang "You Belong Here," and I thought, oh, it's pretty cool. So I auditioned, and here I am.
Despite what the mood is in this country right now, politically, regarding gays or drag queens or people who aren't, quote unquote, what they would call the norm, we are the norm too. Sacramento has embraced us immensely. Since we came back from the pandemic, every single show has been sold out. That's never happened in the almost 40 years history of this chorus.
I feel joy when I'm performing, because we can see the smiles and the laughter.
You just see so many faces looking back at you, just really eager to see what you have to present. I love to perform, I love to sing, and I also love being in a warm and welcoming community. And all of those things keep me coming back every season.
Today is a special day for a Stockton resident who's about to reach a big milestone birthday. Dr. Marvin Lee Likens is turning 101 years old next week. And today, look at him there smiling big. The community came out to help celebrate. Even the mayor showed up. Dr. Likens is a World War II veteran and an Oklahoma native. He's quite the Renaissance man, too. He's been fascinated with the arts and medicine his entire life. After his honorable discharge from the military, he got his undergraduate degree at UCLA, then on to his doctorate.
I think what's really amazing is that he is so aware and cognitive at his age.
God's been good to me. I've been very thankful.
God's been good to me, he says. As a skilled artist, Dr. Likens also created a series of mosaic panels depicting the Stations of the Cross. He retired in 1991 after a long career in medicine. Congratulations and happy birthday, sir.